To get right, it's certainly in the initial stages of developing their swimming stroke. Even some very advanced swimmers maybe grew up with the knowledge that they should actually be holding onto their breath underneath the water to somehow improve their buoyancy, to lift their whole body higher in the water there. However, we find that this causes a few problems. A, the swimmer often feels quite anaerobic in the water, so they feel like they're often getting quite sort of tense, breathing doesn't feel relaxed. And B, that whole idea of improving the buoyancy, if the buoyancy is held in the chest and lungs, that's going to allow the swimmer to sit very high at the front, but typically for many male triathletes, low sinking legs in the water, that's going to exacerbate this low sinking leg position in the water, and whilst the front end of the stroke is very, very high, the back end will be dropping down, creating additional drag. If you're holding onto your breath underneath the water, it also gives a sensation that you're actually going to feel like you're running out of breath, running out of steam very, very quickly. When you take a breath of air in, you're obviously sucking in oxygen and carbon dioxide at the same time. Your body wants the oxygen, but it doesn't want that CO2. You need to get rid of it underneath the water. If you hold on to the CO2, the relative levels start to increase, and that gives this sensation of you feeling like you're going to gasp and run out of steam. So we're going to try this little exercise now with these 5 swimmers in the pool here at Challenge Stadium, just to show you how we can get them swimming and breathing a little bit more easily and economically underneath the water with this sink down exercise. Okay, guys, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to ask you to try and sink to the bottom of the pool. Okay, now, whilst that might sound like a very simple exercise, especially for those of you who feel like you're quite sinky, especially in the legs, what you're going to do here is you're not going to use your arms and legs to sink down, so you're not allowed to push or anything like that. I literally want you to take a big breath of air in, blow out from your mouth, and see if you can sit your bum on the bottom of the pool. Okay? I'll count you down from 3, 2, 1, and then give it a try. Remember, no assistance with the arms and legs. Just see by blowing out if you can get yourself down. Mike's very keen here. I can see him. He's come on, get him down. Okay, are we ready? 3, 2, 1, let's go. Good. Okay. Now, some of you got down straight away like a rock, sunk straight down to the bottom. But Mike, it's probably fair to say with yourself that when you swim, one of the biggest single things holding you back with your swimming is low sinking legs in the water. That's why you feel so much better swimming with a pool buoy between the legs, or maybe swimming in the ocean, etc. And yet, in that situation, you were the last person to sink down. So, what actually happened there? Mike was actually holding on to his breath quite substantially. You were like a tiny little trickle of air coming out, but it wasn't a full exhale. Cindy went down like a stone, straight down to the bottom. She's also very lean, okay, but she went down very, very quickly because of the way she exhaled in the water. So this time, what I want you to try is we'll all try what Mike's doing and see if we can actually get ourselves down to the bottom of the pool. So we'll take a big breath of air in. We'll hold on to the breath with the face underneath the water for the first 3 seconds. And then very quickly, blow out and see if we can get down to the bottom. Now, this is the way that many, many swimmers swim. They'll hold on to the breath for the first couple of strokes and then blow out very rapidly, taking a nice sharp inhale just before they pop their head back down into the water. Unfortunately, this adds to the buoyancy like we saw with Mike there, and keeps the swimmer in this situation sitting very, very high in the water. Okay, are we ready then? 3, 2, 1, let's go. Now, you can see here that all the swimmers have stayed floating in the water there. Eventually they go down, but it's only once they start to release that they get down straight away. Good, okay. So you can all feel that period of buoyancy at the start. Unfortunately, that was keeping you very, very high. And if you're trying to lay horizontally in the water, that's ultimately going to cause the swimmer to sit very high at the front and the legs to trail down at the back. What we need to do is we need to be blowing out straight away. This is how we're going to do that. This time, we're going to take a breath of air in. You're going to flop your arms down by the sides, breath of air in, and almost like you can't be bothered to do the exercise, I want you to blow out like so. It's almost like a great big sigh in the water. This is how we should be exhaling when we're swimming proper freestyle swimming. Okay, are we ready? 3, 2, 1, and... Now you can see here, Mike especially went straight down this time, just by exhaling properly underneath the water. A good result. Okay, much quicker?
Yep.
Excellent. That's how we want to be exhaling when we're doing freestyle swimming. Now, some people feel better exhaling from the nose than from the mouth, so we'll actually experiment with that. What I want you to do this time, nice big breath in through the mouth, but then exhale through the nose, almost like you're humming a tune. So you should be able to hear yourself doing this exercise. So it's more of a and down we go. See if that feels any better for you. Okay, are we ready? Over to you. 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Okay, now John, that certainly seemed for yourself nowhere near as effective. On the exhaling from the mouth, we went straight down from the nose. We sort of got halfway down, but then sort of stalled at that point. Okay, absolutely. Who felt better from the mouth? Yep, who felt better from the nose, anyone? Okay, good. Now there's no right or wrong here, it's really what suits you as the individual. So what I'm going to ask these swimmers to do now is this time we're going to do 3 sink downs in a row. You're going to stick with either exhaling from your nose or your mouth, whichever felt best, whichever got you down the quickest and made you feel the most relaxed. I'd like to do 3 of these in a row. But the key here is that you're either going to be breathing in or exhaling to sink down. There's never a period where you're actually holding on to your breath. So it's in, out, sink down, come back up, in, out, 3 times in a row. In your own time, guys, over to you. That's good. Now the swimmers are all getting a really good hang of this. They're sinking down very, very quickly, very easily down to the bottom of the pool here, all because they're letting go of that buoyancy in the chest and lungs. Perfect, okay. Okay, look very nice guys, very nice and relaxed. What we're going to get you to do now is we're going to swim several laps of the pool freestyle. In fact, we're going to go 200 meters, so 4 lengths of the pool. We're going to go one behind the other. And what I'd like to do, on the way down each lap, I'd like to make sure that as soon as your face goes into the water, so we'll take this breath of air in, as soon as the face comes back into the water, we're exhaling long and steady, just like you're doing there, like you're sighing in the water. So it's a breath in, and then simply nice and relaxed. On the way back down each time though, I'd like to actually hold onto your breath underneath the water, blowing out right at the last moment just before you take a breath in. Now this is a very, very common thing that many swimmers do, and probably the most common thing that we see, the most common error in the freestyle swim stroke. Exhaling so late like that, if you think about it, you've only got a very small window of opportunity to be able to breathe in. If you're blowing out right at the last moment, chances are you're probably blowing out and then trying to suck in all at the same time. So we're going to go down, nice and steady exhale. On the way back, I'd like you to hold on to your breath. We're going to go 4 lengths of the pool, and I'd like to see which feels best, either exhaling properly or holding on to your breath underneath the water. Okay, let's go with Gwen first. So we're going to stay on the left side of the lane, Gwen. I'm going to set you off one behind the other, about 5 seconds apart. Phil, you're going to go second. Okay, Gwen, are we ready? 4 lengths of the pool. 2, 1, let's go. Okay, Phil, just over into here. Ready, 2, 1, let's go. Now if you recall, Mike was the guy who was struggling to sink down on that first little sink down exercise. He classically holds onto his breath underneath the water, but unfortunately one of the biggest single things holding him back is low sinking legs in the water. Right now, he's exhaling as we asked him to do, like he's sighing, and his heels are just about breaking the surface of the water there. Mike should be feeling fairly comfortable and relaxed in doing this exercise. When he finishes the lap and he comes back holding on to his breath, we'll ask him exactly how he felt. Did he feel better exhaling efficiently underneath the water, or did he feel like he was more comfortable holding on to his breath? The answer should be obvious, but it's always worthwhile asking the athlete how they feel and giving this a try for yourself in your own swimming pool. Good. So Mike, how was that?
a whole lot harder.
Whole lot harder on the way back down, yeah, okay. Okay. So holding on to breath underneath the water, not only does it feel more anaerobically challenging, so the swimmer feels like they're running out of breath,
Absolutely.
but for those with very, very low sinking legs in the water naturally, holding on to the breath at the front is just going to exacerbate that further and cause the legs to drag even further in the water. And obviously we know with Mike, that's one of the biggest single things holding him back. Gwen, how did you feel doing that exercise?
It was really hard. I felt out of breath as well
On the way back, yeah. Cindy?
That's how I felt, out of breath.
Out of breath, yeah.
Yeah.
Phil, when you got here, you were
Yeah, the same.
very challenged.
Yeah.
Out of breath, yeah, okay. So much easier on the way down. John, would you agree with that?
Yeah, you tend to hesitate with your stroke when you're breathing with that last bit. You tend to slow that stroke down.
Absolutely. So getting breathing right, as we can see here with these swimmers, is such an important key element of your freestyle stroke. In fact, we have a range of different swimmers here, a range of different speed levels. You'd think that it would only be the beginner swimmers who really struggle with this exhalation process underneath the water. But if you've been swimming for a long, long time, chances are you were maybe taught to swim to hold on to breath to improve the buoyancy. As we saw with Mike in particular, certainly holding on to breath does improve your buoyancy, but in all the wrong regions. We need to make sure that we're actually distributing that buoyancy effectively to try and get the body as in a neutral, horizontal position as we possibly can. The last thing we want is excess buoyancy in the chest and lungs, lifting the swimmer high at the front and causing the legs to drag down at the back. If you know that you swim significantly faster with the pool buoy in, significantly faster with the wetsuit or in the ocean where the buoyancy of the salt water keeps your bum and legs a little bit higher, or if you know that you're really struggling with your breathing, then this little exercise, as simple and as basic as it might seem, is a really, really good way of getting you to exhale efficiently underneath the water. We'd highly recommend doing this exercise with a couple of friends in water depth of around about 1.8 to 2 meters. Much more shallow than that, and you'll find that you haven't got the period of time to actually drop down to the bottom, but obviously much deeper than that. If we're swimming in a dive pool, for example, we'd probably never get these guys back up to the surface of the water. Okay, thank you very much, guys. It was great.